We're back here in Zurich with the CEO and President of Dolly Varden. Shawn, it's a pleasure to meet with you in person.
Thanks for having me on.
You have a very high-grade silver project. It is continues to develop. You recently got a very significant investment by Hecla. Let's talk about what they find interesting about the company and why do they make this large $10 million investment to increase their equity position to over 15% now.
That's correct. Yeah. So we did close within the last 2 weeks a $10 million strategic investment from Hecla. What I celebrate the investment, in addition to Hecla going from 10% to 15%, as a company, there's no fees that go along with that financing, so the company nets $10 million, which is significant. And I think that what we've demonstrated at Dolly Varden is an ability to grow our resources. We've done that through acquisition. We've had a lot of success with the drill bit. So I think they celebrate the wide intercepts that we're hitting, the high-grade nature of the deposit, the fact that we're in a safe jurisdiction. I think all of these reasons contributed to their investment.
So you're in the Golden Triangle with a lot of silver. Let's talk about the high grade. What kind of numbers are we looking at? What kind of widths and high grade results are you finding?
So yeah, you mentioned the Golden Triangle. It's got a long storied history of big gold deposits, big silver deposits. If you look to the north of us, you've got the Eskay Creek project, which was 200 million ounces of silver at 2,500 grams per ton. It also had 3 million ounces of gold. So we're surrounded by some of the biggest, richest deposits in the world. On our project, I like to talk about the average grades. The average grades are roughly 300 grams per ton silver, but we've hit into areas where there is kilo numbers. We hit an area at the Wolf deposit last year where we drilled 1.5 kilos, 1,500 grams of silver, over 16 meters. But we're consistently drilling 20, 30, 40 meter intercepts that are averaging 300 grams per ton. And what we're finding is these veins that start as 8, 9 meter veins at surface are extending to 20, 30 meters at depth.
Wow. So what depth are they going to? What are you finding?
So the project has 2 past producing mines. It's got 5 deposits. Most of the deposits have only been drilled to a depth of 300 meters, but we've recently taken the Wolf discovery down to a vertical depth of about 600 meters.
600. Who was producing the past production there? What was that?
So back in 1920, the Dolly Varden Silver mine was the richest mine in the British Empire, and it was operated by the Dolly Varden Silver Company. And then if you fast forward to the 1950s, the Torbrit mine was Canada's 3rd largest silver producer. So what we've done is we've consolidated this entire 15-kilometer land package that includes the Homestake gold deposit in the north, and then the 2 past producing mines in the south, and then we've been drilling out some new discoveries.
How much drilling are you doing right now? What's the program like?
So we've completed a 51,000 meter drill program. So that's 115 drill holes. We've got 70 drill holes to report still. So we're awaiting those assays, and then we're starting to plan for our next program.
Is there a resource on the project?
There is a resource on the project. The compliant resource estimate was published in 2019. So the compliant resource estimate talks to 140 million ounces of silver equivalent. Now, we've done 100,000 meters of drilling subsequent to that resource estimate, so we believe it's an understated number.
Will you look to update this in the coming year or two, or what is the
I think we get one more drill season, and then we look to update that number.
Okay. What kind of program would you be looking at for the coming year based off the results that are coming in? Obviously, you need to see how that looks like.
Yeah, so what I envision is probably somewhere in the neighborhood of a 30 to 40,000 meter drill program based on what we've seen so far. And again, keeping in mind that less than 50% of the assays have been received, but I think it's a conservative range to give investors and shareholders, as we drilled about 37,000 meters in 2022 and 51,000 meters in 2023. I think somewhere between 30 and 40,000 meters is a reasonable number.
Are you funded now for for this kind of program, or
We've got $13 million in the bank, and at call it $400 a meter, we could drill about 25,000 meters with what we have in the treasury right now.
Okay, great. So you have huge deposits growing. You really have, I mean, everything except maybe for the silver market on your side, and the silver, obviously all the silver stocks are depressed. So how do you see your valuations right now with where you're at, maybe relative to other silver companies out there?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So on one hand, I believe discovery stories can move in any and all environments, but I think we would get a much better valuation in terms of our in situ per ounce value in the ground. We are trading with the higher end of the peer group, and I think it's because of the quantity of ounces that we have, the quality of the ounces in terms of the continuity, so quantity, quality, grade. So we're trading about $1 per silver ounce in the ground, but I'm a big believer that not all ounces are created equal. And I remember at a time when the silver price was $14 or $15, and you had a company like Silvercrest that was trading at $6 an ounce in the ground because of the quality of their deposit.
Right. I was a shareholder of that. Been to the Santa Elena mine, and very, very nice to see that. Yeah, but yeah, the valuations right now in the sector are very depressed. But you are continuing to develop the project, add ounces, like you say, excellent jurisdiction. I was up at the KSM project years ago, and back then they were bringing hydroelectric power, cheap energy. The infrastructure is growing there, so it must be it's a great area to be focused on, I imagine, to build a future mine possibly.
Absolutely. Whether it's the BC government bringing all the infrastructure that you mentioned, I think just in the hydroelectricity, it was a $700 million investment, and then you got the deepwater seaport in Stewart. You've got the roads. And in addition to that, you've got the First Nations component, where the Nisga'a in our area and the Sultan in the north are pro-business, pro-mining. So it checks all those boxes from an ESG category.
Right, that's very important up there as well. So that's all in favorable status. Great. Well, Shawn, it's a very exciting story. We have a lot to look forward to with assay results coming in from a lot. 70 more holes. That's
70 holes, yeah.
Significant amount of data coming our way, and then more to look forward to next year. Looking forward to following up and watching these results come out and watching this deposit develop.
Thanks for having me on. Thank you.
Thank you.